The Redbirds win by the narrowest of margins. Chaos erupts in the WRL. And we finally get to crown our champion of the APBL. All of this and more in 20 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. How is everybody on this Thursday night football? Thursday, I guess we're going to say. See a couple people out there. If you're out there with us tonight, say hello. Be nice to see, to have some interaction tonight, especially since we unfortunately had to miss last week. So here's your agenda for tonight. Changed up the way the screen looks just a little bit. I realized as I was updating the buttons that are over here on this side that every week I was going through and having to change APFL, week whatever, Loch Ness, week whatever. And I have to do that for all 8 or 9 of these buttons for every one of the screens that comes up. So it's like 81 to 90 changes. And I was like, why am I doing that? I don't want to do that anymore. So I took the week off. So the only week that I have to change now is this one right here that says week 5 wrap up on it. I just got to change that 9 times, then we'll be good to go. Damien, what's up? How are you, my friend? Hey, I like that image that's up there. That's pretty good. Mad scientist, Damien Scott. I like that a lot. Hope you're doing well, man. All right, so there's the agenda for tonight. We got quite a few things to get through in the APFL, so let's go ahead and get started there. So we led the show off talking about how Arizona, the Redbirds, won by the narrowest of margins. They knocked off the Jacksonville Prowlers by just 1.22 points. Final score there was 90.92 to 89.70. And I don't know if I got a chance to say this on the last broadcast or if I had even fixed it by the last broadcast, but I know that I had said before we were having some issues with those points not showing the way that I wanted to, and they were rounding up and weren't really telling the story that I wanted to tell. Finally got it fixed. So now we're at least getting the whole numbers on the screens, and then I can work the decimals after that into the story. Jason, I appreciate it. I don't know if you're talking about the graphics or me. Either way, I appreciate it. So to go along with this Jacksonville story, we actually had 6 teams in the APFL that were undefeated coming into this week, and only 3 of them survived. So only 3 undefeated teams left at the end of the week. One of those being the Green Bay Cheeseheads as they end up beating the Baltimore Blackbirds. Both of these teams coming in undefeated. Cheeseheads end up getting the 25-point win. Final score there, 96 to 71. And then Carolina will serve as our heartbreak game of the week. Usually when you put up 101 points in the APFL, that'll get you a win, but not this week against the Barracudas. Barracudas end up getting that win, 105 to 101. Damien says, Arizona threw in the towel early thinking he was going to lose. Never give up. This is absolutely true. And then Jason said, you in the graphics. I appreciate it, brother. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. So we just talked about the heartbreak game of the week. Now here's like probably the story of the last maybe 4 years as it comes to this franchise. Kansas City demolishing Dallas with a 60-point beatdown. This was the Arrowhead's largest margin of victory in franchise history. And at the same time, Dallas posted this week's lowest output in the APFL. As you can see there, final score 107 to 47. We just talked about Dallas putting up the lowest amount of points for the week. Indianapolis end up putting up the most points this week in a highest scoring game thriller against Seattle. Combined points between these two, 248 points. Final score there, as you can see, 133 to 115. Hey, good to see you. Let's see. Got a little distracted there for a second. Let's look at that APFL playoff picture. If we were to go to the playoffs right now, this is what we would look like. Over on the AFC side, Denver getting the number 1 seed, as they are one of the 3 teams that's still left undefeated. Buffalo being the other one, the number 2 seed there on the AFC side. And then Damian Scott and the Green Bay Cheeseheads being the lone team left undefeated on the NFC side. They get the number 1 seed on the NFC side. I'll let you guys sit there and look at that as I talk about the next little topic here. We are going into week 6 of the APFL. We are going into our strength of schedule games for the year. If you want to have or read a really good preview story of what it looks like as we're going into the strength of schedule games, go over to the website and read the story that David Chen put together for us for the APFL, and looking forward to week 6. Really, really good portion of the story. Oh, I got to go back and look at that again. Congratulations on the daughter having the baby. I put that up so fast and then I didn't really look at it. Congratulations. Thank you, Jason, for catching that for me. So congratulations on the baby. All right, that is it for the APFL. Let's get into these WRL stories, and we're going to start off, as we always do, with the Loch Ness region. All right, in the Loch Ness region, the Ohio River Monsters unleashed their inner beast. They rolled past Totally Turtley. Final score there was 194 to 131. Go and read that one, and then at the end of this segment of the WRL, I'm going to also talk to you about Myrick Rowe's story in the preview going into week 6 for the WRL. Go out and read that story as well. Both of their write-ups for the previews for this upcoming week were really good and spot on. That's your highlight out of the Loch Ness region. So let's shift over to the Red Dragons region, which was also one of our topics at the top of the show. So chaos erupted here in the Red Dragons region. The team, the chaos erupted for 206 points, which was the second highest score in the league so far this season. They beat up on the Crayon Crusaders 206 to 161. Rumor has it, though, that a midweek trade might have sparked this eruption, helping him get that 206 points. We got 2 stories for you in the Cerberus region. Jason put on here that we need sound for those videos. I actually do have sound for the Krakens one, and I actually do have sound for the Dragons one as well. I just haven't synced it up yet. Maybe that could be a project we work on Saturday while you're here. So in the Red Dragons region, the top-ranked Maniacs remained undefeated with a 195 to 149 victory over the Charlie Potters. And then, not to be outdone, but the Monarchs also flexed this week. They ended up putting 198 points, which was just behind Chaos for the second top score of the week. They ended up beating the Tonawanda Lumbermen 198 to 147. And then just mentioning to Jason about the Krakens, you all can't hear this yet, but I promise you I got audio for it. It will be nice. The 2023 champion Lunatics finally looking like their old selves. They ended up getting a win over the Virginia Blackbeards. Final score there, 197 to 152. Let's show you that top 25 in the power rankings. That is not the right image. I wonder if I forgot to put the right one up. Give me just a second and see if I can get the correct one up there for you all. That's the nice thing about being able to do this stuff on the fly. I am in the wrong folder. That's probably what happened earlier today. There we go. That should be the one you all want to look at. I apologize to you all for that. So there is your top 25 in the power rankings right now. Maniacs nearly perfect with a .997. The only thing keeping them from having the perfect 1.000 is they are sharing that undefeated record with the Music City Miracles, both of them being 5-0, the only two teams that are left undefeated in all of the WRL. That puts Music City Miracles number 2. Unicorn Legends number 3, Monarchs number 4, and the Ohio River Monsters, which we mentioned just a little bit ago, City number 5. I'll let you take a second there and look at the top 10. Chaos did slide in after that huge 206-point eruption into the top 10. They moved all the way from 22 to 10 to take that spot. And again, like I said just a little bit ago, if you want to read a really good preview of what Week 6 is going to look like, for the WRL, go out and read that story by Mira Crow. Really good story. So let's finish up some football news here. But we have the big news to talk about in the APBL as well. So let's talk about primetime games in the NFL. Dayton Cavalry. Did I miss something, Jason? Oh, yeah, you're definitely not in that top 25. I don't even know, have the Cavalry won a game yet this year? Are you 0-5, 1-4? I don't even know what you are this year. You're not going to make the top 25 with that. But if you want to go out and see all of the power rankings, for those of you that are registered for the website, I'll bring this up more next week as I talk about this, because we're going to end up changing the APBL section of this show to website updates. So I'll put one of them out there right now since Jason brought this up. If you are registered for the website, you're a WRL member, you go out and log in and you go to my dashboard and you click on Manage My Team, and then you go under Standings and Power Rankings. It will show you all 48 teams and not just the top 25. And also in the upper right-hand corner of the chart that comes up for the Power Rankings, click on Show Details, and then that'll show you a complete breakdown. And after you look at it, if you have any questions, hit me up with a DM over on Discord. So let's talk about primetime games. So tonight, Thursday Night Football, we have Philly at the New York Giants. You already know who I'm picking. That's why I got this on. As of 11:30 today, all of these point spreads that I'm going to give you were off of FanDuel, I think is what I pulled it from this week. Philly is favored by 7.5. We have the Sunday early game again this week as an international game. We got Denver versus the Jets. Denver favored by 7. For Sunday Night Football, we've got Detroit at Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 2.5. And then we got 2 Monday Night Football games again this week. First Monday night game is going to be at 7:15. That is Buffalo at Atlanta. Buffalo favored by 4.5. And then we have the 8:15 p.m. East Coast start for the second Monday night game. That is Chicago at Washington. Washington favored by 4.5. We do have 2 teams off on bye this week. That is Houston and Minnesota. So if you have anybody on your team playing for those 2 teams, make sure you get your lineups changed. Kickoff should be here in about 30 to 35 minutes. So if you have anybody playing tonight, make sure you get your lineups set up there as well. I just saw something pop up in the corner that says "Let's go Buffalo," and the only person I could think of that would be Erica, and it is. How you doing? All right, so that finishes up the football portion as far as competition goes throughout the regular league stuff. So let's wrap up baseball for the 2025 season. Because we weren't here last week, we didn't get an opportunity to properly congratulate the Texas Rangers on winning the 2025 APBL World Series. I wanted to make sure that she got her due diligence tonight. Final score there, 288 to 276. I have a graphic for it. I'm pausing for effect right now because I was able to create 2 new graphics since our last show. One of them was already showed throughout the WRL. You may have noticed it, maybe not. I didn't draw a whole lot of attention to it, but this one is probably my new favorite one, and that's why I'm holding on to it. Pause for effect. Just created this one, I think, on Tuesday. Going to probably be using this one a lot, especially for really important games. But there you go. Texas Rangers end up winning the 2025 APBL World Series over the New York Yankees. Final score, 288 to 276. Again, probably my favorite new graphic that we have built. Let's see. As I already said, too, as we were talking about going out and doing the power rankings, Jason says, congratulations to the Rangers. Absolutely, congratulations to the Rangers. And she did it in her rookie year as well. This APBL section is probably going to be replaced with like website updates. That's probably all I'm going to call it, website updates. Anytime we do something new to the website, I will bring it up on the show. I will try to pull up a live screen, show you around the website a little bit so you can see what the new stuff is. Maybe point out a few things that we're going to work on. Great opportunity for you to then go out, follow behind what I did, poke around at a couple other links and stuff like that, and be like, hey, Commish, this doesn't work. This is trash. We need to add this. This is great. You know, whatever you want to say about the website, this is the spark to get us going. We're 6 weeks into the season now. I don't want to jinx it quite yet because I probably won't pay much attention to it until Sunday. But I think we have our live scoring issue solved. So you will be able to soon go over to the iPlayFSA website or the test website, and you'll be able to see live scoring for your team. So I'll probably let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but I think this Sunday is going to be the day that we finally have it all locked in. And then by week 7, you should be able to come to the website and see it. So just a little foreshadowing there for you all. Last little piece of football type stuff that we got to talk about is the FSA Sunday Ticket. So as you all know, this is the side game that we are playing this year. It's kind of like a pick'em challenge, except for instead of just picking the teams that you think you're going to win, you're adding confidence points to it. Number of confidence points that you can add to any particular game depends on the number of games that are being played that week. Let's say there's 13 games being played that week. The most points that you can give to a game then is 13, and then they go down from there, 12, 11, 10, all the way down to 1. For every game that you get right, you get that number of confidence points. What I want to do is show you where we're at so far in the standings at the end of week 5. Here is where we are. Jonathan Broughton right now leading the entire thing. I'm sitting second. Math says that puts me at about 14.5 points behind Jonathan. Cody Wallinger right behind us at third. Kevin Godwin having a couple of good weeks. I think week 3 and then this past week he's had really good weeks. So that's put him up tied at 4th with Bob. And that rounds out your top 5 there. And I'll let you look at that for a second while Jason says, when does the new site go live? So my hope is that we will be fully functional on iPlayFSA.com at the beginning of next football season. Now, here is going to be the big issue and the thing that I have been really, really concerned and worried about. Sit back and relax and talk about this for a second. All of this building of the website has been done on a subdomain under iPlayFSA.com, which means that not everything links to the main domain. What that means is there's going to be a period of time where as everything is transitioning from the subdomain to the main domain, that there will be interruptions of service in the current iPlayFSA.com. I am hoping maybe even one day to like sleep all day and then pull an all-nighter and do it in the middle of the night where nobody's going to see it. Not that I will say a lot of people hit iPlayFSA.com right now, but I also don't want to do it where it could interrupt services. Yeah, Jason says I'm top 25 there in the FSA Sunday Ticket. I mean, probably not real hard. I think we've got 29 solid players, though, so you only got to beat out about 4 more people to make sure you're top 25. So when we get ready to roll that over, I have a fear of what that's going to look like. Like I said, most, if not all, of the links that we currently have are linked to something in the domain. The overall main cascading style sheet that is portraying the layout of the way the website looks like might not roll over correctly as we switch back over to the main domain. The current home page, which we've been using as home-magazine.php, will now become the default.php or whatever it is that Kimmy Cloud uses for the main page whenever you log into it. There's a fear there that with everything that is connected to home-magazine.php, which basically has taken us back to our current home page, all of that's going to need to get changed so it goes to either iPlayFSA.com or default.php or whatever it is that Kimmy Cloud wants us to use. So there is a lot that even when we say we are ready to go, when we go to flip that switch to make us really ready to go, there's probably going to be days of debugging, troubleshooting. What did we forget during the rollover? We won't know until we find the broken link. We won't know until one of you out there tells me, hey, Commish, this is messed up. So it's going to be a little bit. But the hope, Jason, to go back to your original question, is the hope is to have this ready for football 2026. We will still be using the subdomain and the test website as we start the 2026 APBL season. Which, by the way, I want to make a mention to as we get ready to talk about our next broadcast, because the next broadcast is going to be off a little bit on football, and then I want to make sure that all of the APBLers that are out there, are aware of when we're going to have our off-season meeting. So let's go ahead and get to that. Let's get to our next broadcast. So next broadcast for this, the Fanatically Real broadcast, is not going to be until Friday of next week. Wednesday, I will be in Aiken for soccer. Thursday, I will be at a program for my daughter. So we will do this show, Fanatically Real broadcast, on Friday, 17 October. I'm pretty sure is the date, 17 October, and we will do it at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time. That way, if any of you are night owls and like to do things on Friday nights, you still have the opportunity to do that. And then we will come back, hopefully, with the regularly scheduled Fanatically Real broadcast on the 23rd. The week after that, we'll let you know. But then the day after that, the 24th, which will be a week from the next Fanatically Real broadcast, that is when we're going to host the off-season meeting for the APBL. I will start to push that tomorrow to all of the general managers, because that will actually put us 2 weeks out, and make sure that we can try to get as many people. Yeah, I know, Jay. I just saw your message pop up. Well, won't have me to help you with the broadcast. I know you'll be on the boat. I don't know what it is tonight with whatever happened. I put the chat thing over there and I hit refresh on all of the pages. I did a test message. The test messages never work. Your first message didn't work. So I had to actually disconnect and reconnect and put the chat bubble back over there again. Refresh all of the pages. Your second message actually worked. So if you're not there, you're not there. We just won't have the normal chat. I'll just have to look at the YouTube chat over on the side and answer questions. But APBL, peoples, if you're out there watching, 24 October, time to be determined. We will have our general managers meeting. We will talk about what 2026 is going to look like, the expansion, the possible change of rosters, possible change of starting lineups, schedule, if I didn't already say that yet. That's going to be the biggest part of this and the most fun part, in my opinion, for the 2026 season. But yeah, that'll happen on the 24th. That is it. I want to make sure that I thank our sponsors. Thank you to Sport Management Solutions, who are title sponsor of FSA, and then the Recast, the official music of FSA. Thank you for watching the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions. If you liked tonight's show, make sure you go out, like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all of our social media outlets. And remember, we are Fanatically Real. Enjoy your Thursday night football. And we will see you next week, Friday.